Initially, I was going to make a video about why you should play Valheim, but judging by the Steam charts, that's a pretty well-known fact at this point. It's like if Ark, RuneScape, and Dark Souls went to the club together, had one too many, ended up with a dumpster baby. That dumpster baby was then raised by Vikings who like to play games in 240p for that. PS1 aesthetic. Instead, I wanted to give some tips for those complete noobs jumping into this dank new world. Being a survival game, dying is ironically a part of the process, but maybe these tips can help you stay alive long enough to Vike the King. Number 1. You play as a Viking in Valheim, but your character has some proper pink virgin lungs. If you build a sick smoke shack for you and the boys to 420 blaze it, your Viking will go out like a little bitch almost immediately. So always make sure you build a chimney so pink lungs here doesn't die of asphyxiation. Number 2. Being a Viking, or a Viking Queen for all you gamer girls out there, your character swims about as well as a burlap sack of barn kittens. But unlike General Meow, you can and should take a dunkaroo to raise your swimming stat before taking a boat anywhere, because your base swimming stat all but ensures that you'll drown to death in even ankle-deep water. Number 3. But when you get out of the water, you're gonna be wetter than your mom after a Magic Mike VHS, and believe me, nobody wants that. Being out in the rain or in the water will give you a wet debuff which saps your stamina and can be reversed by standing next to a fire for a few seconds. Or if you want to embrace the true Viking tradition, you can set yourself on fire to dry off immediately. Number 4. Your Viking needs to eat almost as much as your ex did after you left them. For that reason, it's advised to always have a food supply on you. It doesn't really weigh anything, and if you play everything right, you'll be not only staving off hunger, but raising your health rate well above 100. Number 5. You can call me Benny Frankie because ya boy be kitin'. If you don't know how to kite enemies in this game, I think that you're gonna have a pretty terrible time. For some enemies, it isn't entirely necessary unless they decide to get into a herd together, but for enemies like the first boss, the difficulty can be pretty much negated by kiting him around an obstacle. Doubly so if you're playing with friends. Number 6. Speaking of friends, Valheim is a lot better if you have a few buddies to tag along with. You'll be able to get a lot of things done faster if you have more than one person, and it makes the larger bosses a lot easier through cheese and legitimate working together. Very similar to Russian roulette, this game just hits really different if you're playing by yourself. Number 7. Speaking of playing with yourself, if you're playing with friends, it is highly advised that you beat them off. I'm serious. You gain experience for doing damage to your friends even if you have PvP turned off, so you can just go into the corner and beat each other until you're covered with sex pee. Those are just a few of my early game tips and tricks. I'm only about 13 hours in, so I'm certainly not a professional at this point. There's probably a lot more that I could share with you, and if you guys would like to see it, feel free to let me know. I've also been shit tier streaming this over on Twitch, so in case you're really bored and feeling a bit suicidal, you can head over there and watch me as well. Just make sure that you unsubscribe and unfollow me on both of these, because honestly, getting too many views these days. I got an email from Twitch and a phone call from Susan over at YouTube that said I need to leave some views for the rest of us. Make sure that you unsubscribe and unfollow, and I hope to God I don't see you guys in the next one.